only the second episode in and we are already seeing snow. I can only imagine this story will involve something related to the weather. But like in every situation, no matter what the weather, the engines are going to be working. And it's when they're working...
Sometimes they need to warn people they are coming. So steam engines blow their whistles. And diesel engines sound their electric horns.
To be honest, either one of their alerting devices are cool to hear. One day, Percy visited Farquhar Quarry, where Ari and Bert were working. For some reason. Don't these two knuckle-buffers work at the smelter shed? I guess they were subbing in today. Either way, Percy gave them a toot hello on the whistle. That's nice of him.
Caught out a whistle, chortled Bert. Just listen to this. Diesels can do everything better than steamies, they sneered. My whistle's as good as your horns.
Alright, well, that was certainly new to hear. Angelis voicing the two twin diesels was interesting, and his voice for Percy was good too. And how about that train shake? Ah yes, this harkens back to my rage debates on how these engines move on their own when they clearly can't. I know it's for comedic purposes, really, but okay. This is just something that is a thing, even though none of these engines can brake on their own, 'cause that makes sense. Anyway, Percy later went back to the quarry to get back at Ari and Bert.
He rolled up behind Ari and Bert, took an extra big puff, and blew as loudly as he could. Ari and Bert were surprised. I told you my whistle is as good as your silly old honky horns.
Very nice. Percy gave those two a taste of their own medicine. As did they shake, rattle, and roll, too. Oy, I just don't get that. And it was because Percy was so proud of his loud whistle, he began doing it all over the place. His first chance was scaring the crap out of Thomas, and he wasn't having it after that happened.
That wasn't funny, he sniffed. But Percy didn't notice. He was too busy having fun. Percy saw Bertie the bus. He took another big puff and blew.
Now that's a new look for Percy. We've seen his face before with his eyes shut, but this one hasn't been used until now. Somehow Bertie didn't shut his eyes, even though he almost crashed thanks to Percy. Oh, but our little green goblin on wheels wasn't off squeaky clean. Oh no, Thomas nabbed him later that evening.
Percy was sorry. I won't do it again, he waved. I promise. But the next day, Percy was bringing the milk train from the dairy. I wish I could have one more loud whistle, he said to himself. He couldn't see any people.
Of course, because the temptation was too strong for him. Percy, you cheeky bumblebuffer, you. This is not going to end right if you blow that whistle of yours. He thought he was in the clear, but there was something else that he wasn't aware of. Trevor, who has appeared twice now, which is amazing considering how often that's happened, was sitting high up on a hill surrounded by other objects. But with Percy not knowing this, yeah, he blew his friggin' whistle.
Trevor was so surprised his trailer bumped into a pile of logs. A log fell off and rolled down the hill. Snow stuck to the log. It turned into a snowball. The snowball got bigger.
That's just fantastic. You would be the one to do that, Percy. Cheers to you! But he was not feeling my sarcasm when he saw the ghost of Boulder from Season 5 headed his way. I wonder how he felt in that moment. This is the second time a perfectly shaped sphere came rolling towards me. Except this mound of snow was not going to miss its target in a fiery blaze. Sorry, Percy.
Luckily, no one was hurt, but his driver was cross. Now I will have to go for help, he said. Percy waited in the cold.
Oh, stop, like it's Percy's fault for whistling. I doubt Percy can toot his own whistle, literally. You, Mr. Driver, have to apply the brakes, so it's more than likely you're the happy whistleblower over here. This guy. And to Percy's dismay, not only did he get cold from the weather, but he got the cold shoulder from Top Hat, as well as telling him when it's appropriate to use his whistle.
Percy was a very quiet engine indeed. He didn't use his whistle once. But as Percy came out of the tunnel, he gasped. A big snowdrift had slipped onto the tracks. Percy heard Thomas.
Great, because now Percy is forced to use his whistle. I hope this works out correctly, seeing that Percy was pretty much told to silence himself, even though this situation calls for him speaking up. Well, when Percy did use his whistle, Thomas didn't collide with the snowdrift, of which both Thomas and Top Hat praised him later that evening. That was a 180-degree turn.
You are a really useful engine, and a safe one. Percy was so proud his firebox tingled. Percy uses his whistle safely now, and all his friends are glad to see him.
I would too. You know, although Percy has done things before similar to this story when it comes to repeat offenses, he does care when it's needed. At this point, we fans know Percy's a cheeky little green olive, and sometimes he gets a little carried away. And this narrative resembles that of the boy who cried wolf, except when Percy needed to use his whistle for an emergency, it worked. That's important, because knowing when a train comes barreling down a line is for everyone's safety. If anything, it was just funny how Percy had another run-in with a giant boulder, this time made of snow. Neither was it Percy's first time being buried in snow. So many war flashbacks for him. Oh well. The narration by Angelis was good, his voice for Percy was accurate, and the right emotions were there. It's also cool that so far, this season has been using some of the more underused characters like Bertie, Trevor, Ari, and Bert. They deserve screen time too. It's just too bad this whole engine shaking business hasn't been cleared up, but this has been going on for several seasons now, so whatever. The locations to this episode was good, although some places have gone unnamed. We see the Farquhar Quarry, Tidmouth Sheds, and both ends of Tidmouth Tunnel. But there was also a cottage, kind of looking like Mrs. Kindly's, and the siding where Thomas got surprised by Percy. No records of what those places are, though. The music was enjoyable. Throughout the story, Percy's new theme is used in a number of different ways. It was in major key for the signature theme, and in minor for any moments that involved problems. Nice job, Welkin Hartshorn. Next episode is Thomas to the Rescue. Thanks for watching.